For this take and make kit, we are going to be cutting a quill. We have goose feathers to use for today's project. So they'll look like this in the bag. And the first thing you're going to want to do is they are pre-tempered. So usually feathers have to be tempered, which means they have to get harder. So sometimes you'd use hot sand. There are artificial ways to do that now. And you would look and see which way is going to be the top and what is the bottom. And usually there's like a slight curve, and that curve you want to lean away from your face. So if you're right-handed, you want it to go this way. If you're left-handed, it should be going that way. And then this is your underside of the feather. So the top is where the shaft point, the top is where the point is going to be, the tip of the nib. So keep that in mind. The next thing is, if your feathers go down to your hand, which most of them will, you can pull them all off, or you could just pull some of them off and leave the top feathers. It's really up to you. You also don't need it to be this long. So in today's example, I'm just going to pull them all off, and you could either trim them off with an x-acto knife, or you can pull them off with your hands from the top down. So you just grab them and pull down towards you. If it's too hard, again, you can use, see, sometimes they don't come off so easily. Okay, so these are coming off. And you just pull down towards yourself. If you need to use a knife, again, use that. And you could either leave the top ones or you could take them off. I actually might trim the top off because it's a little too long for me. Okay, so now you can choose where you also want to cut the top off if it's too long for you. So you can make an incision right here, cut the top off. The job is obviously harder if your x-acto knife isn't sharp enough, which seems to be the case here. You can just cut those last feathers off. So you can have it completely without feathers, and it's still a quilt. Next, you want to smooth it off. You want to scrape off any extra membranes that there are. So you just want to use the side of your x-acto knife and just scrape that excess off. You want to make it really smooth, and you want to make sure that you don't have any like membranes falling into your ink or anything when you're writing with this tool. All right, so we've made a mess. So we stripped the barbs off of our goose quill. We also smoothed it out, and we cut it down so that it's much more manageable and it looks more like a pen. The next thing you're going to do is make an incision across the top. So remember how I said it curves away from you? I know it's harder to tell without the feathers, but this is still going to be your top. So you're going to want to make an incision where the bottom is. So if you flip it over, and you want to, again, cut away from yourself, you want to go about halfway down, and then in a scooping motion, cut downward. You might have to do it a couple of times to get it open, but you'll start seeing there's an opening here. You'll just want to keep cutting down. Okay, so again, this is your top, and we are forming the bottom out now. We're scooping the bottom out. So now what you're going to want to do is push in, or if you have like a small stick, you want to push it on the inside. Push the pith in and around, and you'll see you get some stuff in the middle that comes out. Again, you don't want that membrane falling in your ink, so just clear that out. I've cleared a lot of it out already. All right, so you've got the pith out. Now you want to carve out the shoulders of the pen. So I think I might need to go down a little bit more down and out here. The shoulders are now going to need to be, so if you put your thumb behind it, you have a little bit more control. They're going to be about halfway down from where you started on either side, and you just push forward. All right. So you want to see kind of two ridges. You want to see one, and then the second one is even smaller. And you want to make sure they're pretty even. But you really want those shoulders to come to more of a point so that you can actually have a nib to write with. And again, put your thumb behind there to stabilize it and to give you a little more control too. Smooth out any of the edges. All right, so now that you've carved out the shoulders, you're going to cut straight down and get off the very end. So finally, the most important part to actually making this a usable quill is to cut your tines, and the tines are the two outer edges of this entire thing. So you're going to cut down the middle in a straight line. So you're going to insert this, not too far, and if you want to, you could also press your thumb down to stop where the slit is going to go. And you're going to press down, and you should hear a crack. So now you have two tines. So when you press down, your pen should open a little bit and be flexible, and you should notice that it does move. Then you're going to cut down one more time and angle the tip. If you want it to be flat, you can, but most people angle it about 30 degrees. You could also take really fine sandpaper and just carefully run your quill across it to just make sure that the tip is also pretty soft and you're not skipping when you're writing. But that's it. So now you have a quill, a proper quill that you can use to write letters with. You do definitely want to see the tines opening and flexing, and happy writing!